All right, we're back to day two. The theme is discover. Let me talk a little bit about day one and what I did with it. Let me read to you the poem I wrote. Camera in hand, backpack heavy, sunset glows, captured breath and sky. Neil Armstrong became the first human to step onto the moon on July 20th, 1969. His iconic words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." It echoed across the globe as he descended from the lunar module Eagle. I think that was Apollo 11 mission. Armstrong was the commander of the Apollo 11 mission along with Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins. That's such a long time ago. I wasn't even born then. But I guess this is about discovery, discovery of new places, a new rock, a new moon, or even we've known the moon forever. It's still a discovery because he walked for the first time ever. So I think travel really gives you that. I mean, if you go to a new place, like my recent trip to Turkey, we see new things. We experience new culture, we drink new stuff, we ate new food, and we talk to people in a different culture, and your mind grow. Hopefully, you get wiser, but that's not always the case. But in any case, it is a good thing to discover new things. I'm changing my workflow in editing the video, and somehow my mistake in switching to a different mic. So prior to this, the voice would have been recorded with a lower quality mic. Apologies for that. Hopefully this sounds much better. Um, yeah, so my sketching of the moon landing here with the American flag and what looks like the modules, the landing module, and it's just one astronaut. I don't really know who this is because the reference photograph didn't give me a lot more information. I probably could have been able to dig it up and do a bit of research. Anyway, I was just looking for a quick, reference for this, and that's just used for this sketch. When I think of discovery, I think of going to a new place, doing new things, and completely experience something different completely. Do remember to give my video a like. That will encourage me a lot. Okay, let's go with the background. Let's give it a good background. When you're sketching a scene like this with metal and plastics and spacesuit and so on, I think one of the key thing to remember is high contrast. In other words, go in with very dark and leave lots of paper white and have very little of the sort of mid-tone if you like. So it's basically lots of ones, lots of five, and little bit touches of two and threes. That gives it the feel and the mood of sort of space if you like, and lots of metal. That's a basic idea, or that's my game plan. The color I use basically is a combination of neutral tint and carbozel violet, both Daniel Smith. You know that I use a lot of Daniel Smith. And then I use a little bit of a grayish left over from my palette. I think there's a bit of maple yellow and a bit because I was using skin tone in the previous sketch. So it's there, dried up, I wet it, and then I could use it. I throw in a bit of the slight purple, the carbozel violet, to neutralize it, and that's what I get, the little tint of muted grayish yellow, if you like. Um, and then I started working on the flags, the American flags, stripes of red and white, and stars on blue. You can't really paint all the stars in there, so what I did was in essence later on I'll just put a patch of blue, and then use white highlights to get back at the dots of stars. So from here on out, as I say, contrast is one of the most important thing. I go for very, very dark and paper white for as much as I can. That high contrast look, very graphic artist, almost comic book like. and it's intentional because what it does is that it shows that it's very harsh light, with very little ambience light flaring, or there's very little atmosphere. So it's sort of pure contrast, if you like. There's a lot of yellow that I'm throwing in, the two and threes, to give you a bit of options or variety. The color scheme, as you can see, is yellow purple, my favorite. The opposites between yellow and it's purple. And so easy color scheme. I am trying very hard to sort of water down the same mix of Carbozel violet and neutral tint and use it as a mid-tone, if you like. There you go. I'm putting in the blue patch for the American flag. Incidentally, the American flag and the Malaysian flags looks quite similar, except that it's not stars on the Malaysian flag. It's actually the crescent and a big star. Um, eh, the Now back to the sketch. I think one of the things that I try to do is to create a feel for the astronaut, Neil Armstrong. I suspect, but I'm not very sure. As you can see at this point, I have put in the colors and more or less I want. I'm using my fountain pen, which has the darkest black. In this case, it's very black ink, very dark, that is. And it's used to sort of create little dots and patches and to make the sketch more readable. The key word here is readable. Sometimes when you're evaluating your sketch, you want to think, okay, how would my sort of audience see this, and would they actually read it as what it is? Does it look like a spaceship? Does it look metallic? Does it look uh like a astronaut? Is there a reflection? Does it come out? And that's how you kind of evaluate your own sketch, because the idea of readability is so important. And if you're trying to stick close to what you see, which is what you should be doing, either in real life, in plain air, or it's just from photograph, that's also important. But the fact is, you are trying to make it readable. So if you have to cheat a little bit by doing a little something that's not what you see, but by adding a little bit of highlight, by adding a bit of lines, you make it more readable. I think it helps your audience tremendously. So think of it in that sense. Make your sketch readable towards the end. The final edit is to make it more readable. So by this time, when you're doing all this readability thing and all that, you are almost at the end of the sketch. So I use lines a lot because lines dictate how the three-dimensional you know object looks like to the audience. And I've added a little bit of arsenal. I've added some silver lines. I've added some yellow. All the markers that I've bought in recent weeks. Yellow especially has been very helpful. Sometimes I find the opaque white a little bit too ghastly. So anyway, I'm leaving you at this point with the sketch. I hope you enjoyed number two, Inktober. I'm a little bit late with the game, but I'm trying to catch up. So stay safe wherever you are. Bye for now.